Hi, what's up everyone? I am GCROCK and welcome to today's video. Today I am covering the Descent Commendation where you gotta reach the Nemesis and defeat him or her without choosing an exotic talent. I haven't done this sooner because I haven't been playing Descent for a long while and these commendations only came in last season, I believe. So for whatever reason I had the urge to play this and get it done last night and I did it first try. The commendation itself can be found under Tactical on the commendations list, and it's called Descent Basic Award. You're awarded for clean and simple defeats of the Nemesis, and the requirement is to beat the Nemesis in Descent without equipping any exotic talents. Now, I'm sure you know exactly what an exotic talent is, but you have a chance of getting them at the end of every loop, and you're guaranteed on the first loop. So when you have this option, just make sure you skip it all the way through. And then along with all of the other tips I'm about to give you, the talent pool is going to play a big part with how easy this can be as well. So this rotates every few days and depending on the talents, as I just said, will depend how easy this can be. Now ignore all the exotic talents here, but we're currently on the Sloth talent pool and it's not the best one if I'm being honest with you. Last night we had a different pool and we had a lot of talents that I liked. So I'm just having a quick look now. Like, I really like Unhinged as an offensive talent. We don't have that at the time of recording right now, but look for things like Unhinged. Composure's good, Allegro's good, Vigilance is good, Overwatch can be good, I guess. You just want to basically base your build and make yourself hit as hard as you can as you go. So having a good set of offensive talents is going to help you with that. Defensive wise, I only ever really look for something like Preservation and Entrench. Preservation is available right now. That will give you armor on kill, and Entrench will give you armor on headshot. Those two are great self-healing defensive talents, and they're the two that I focus on my runs. And then utility-wise, if you are going to go for Unhinged, you want something to counter that. So that's either going to be Braced or Optimized. Right now on this poll, you can see there's Optimized, but there is no Braced. But another utility one, there's two actually that can really help on your Nemesis run and make this a bit easier, is Trauma and Eyeless. Trauma enables you to blind a target every 30 seconds, and obviously the higher the tier, the less cooldown for that. And then there's also Eyeless, which gives you extra damage against blinded targets. So that's kind of where I focus my build around when I'm heading towards the Nemesis, and definitely with Trauma, it makes the Nemesis encounter so much easier. So just make sure you are choosing wisely as you go, focusing on talents, like I said, that are going to make you extremely powerful, but there's also a little bit of survivability and some crowd control with the Trauma talent if you have it available. Now, this is easier done on solo. If you play this solo and just practice a little bit, it doesn't take too long before you can do a Nemesis run over and over, and it doesn't even matter what the talent pool is. You'll just start getting used to it, okay? When you first start Descent, if you haven't played it before, there is a bit of a learning curve, I want to say. There's like room layouts, the doors and things like that. I have a complete beginner's guide to Descent if you want to check that out. I go over a lot in that. I will link that down in the video description. But it is just a case of going through room by room, taking your time, clearing out a spawn, not letting a spawn behind you where they're going to surprise you. It's just positioning yourself well. Target prioritization plays a key as well. All the standard things with playing this game. But solo is definitely the better way. The HP of the enemies is lower and they don't do as much damage to you. So it just makes it easier when you do get to grips with it. As I have already mentioned, at the end of the first loop of this, you are going to get an exotic talent. Make sure you skip this for the purpose of the commendation, but you're also going to be able to upgrade your stats. Every single time you finish a loop, make sure you go for Devastating. This is going to give you more weapon damage, and that's what you want all the way. At the end of every loop, you are going to get a chance to purchase things from this shop. I highly recommend maybe getting an extra offensive talent slot and utility maybe. I wouldn't go into defensive because you don't need many defensive talents. But ammo capacity can also be important, and armor capacity, armor kits. So make sure you're working on these as you go through after each loop. And then in terms of weapons and skills, you kind of want a long range weapon and a short range. Something like an M1A, classic M1A is going to be perfect. A sniper rifle is good. An SVD is good. These are going to be good to use against the Nemesis. And then a submachine gun or assault rifle for the adds along the way is very good. Now, skills play a very big part, because when you do get to the Nemesis is going to have skills based on the skills that you have. If you have no skills selected, so let's say you have 2 slots empty, the Nemesis is going to come with 2 random skills, which you don't want. But then if you do select skills, he's going to come with skills based on what you have. So let's say there's certain skills, I don't know every skill and what the Nemesis brings, but I know things like decoy, there's a chance the Nemesis will bring a decoy, but there's also a chance of a random skill that they bring. I know if you bring a healing skill, they're probably going to bring a healing skill and things like that. So you don't want to be using oxidizer, you don't want to be using flame turrets or things like that. Anything that's going to cause them damage, they're going to have a skill that can cause you damage, and it makes the Nemesis encounter quite difficult. Now, the 2 recommended skills that I advise is any sticky bomb or any firefly. Now, sticky bombs sound bad, but when a Nemesis uses a sticky bomb against you, it will give you a chance to get out of the way, barrel roll, and you've got loads of time to dodge it. And quite often, from the position I show you in a moment, it's going to fire it past you. And then if it uses the firefly, as long as you go something like a blinder firefly, it's going to match that, so it'll also use a blinder firefly, and that's no issue at all. If it blinds you, you just sit in cover until you're unblinded. So these are the perfect skills. If you can't get them, then I would advise something like a healing skill then, whether it's going to be a repair trap or a revive hive or something like a reinforcer chem launcher. Yes, the Nemesis is going to be able to heal itself, but at least it's not doing damage to you, and you can get enough damage to deal with that. So I'm going to show you my Nemesis battle next, but first, one final thing to discuss is just room selection as you go in. Now, for the first few loops, I'm going to say loop 1, 2, 3, maybe 3. You can go for the harder rooms if you want to. If you do play Descent, you know the harder the room, the less percentage you get to your Nemesis encounter. This is the Nemesis heat bar. At the top of the corner right now, I'm currently at 38%. So if I go hard rooms, this is going to charge up slower, giving me more time to get stronger, I guess, because I'm going to be doing more loops. But it takes you longer to get there. And to be honest with you, you are safe if you just go for the easiest rooms all the way to get to the Nemesis encounter as quick as possible. These will give you the highest Nemesis heat, which will then get you there quicker, and you can just be done with it quicker and have more attempts at it if you need it, you know. And that's kind of how I normally do my Nemesis runs, but do feel free to go a bit harder on, say, loop 1, 2, and maybe 3, just to get the extra cash, to give yourself more cash to spend, or should I say the cent currency, when you get to the lobby in between loops and things like that. And one more thing to mention as well as you're going through the loops, which I forgot to say when I told you to play this solo. When you're going through the loops, if you do go for all the easy rooms and get there as quick as possible, you normally get to the Nemesis by about the end of loop 5, I want to say, and you'll never encounter 2-wave rooms when you're playing solo. If you play in a group, you normally get 2 waves from about loop 4, I think, or loop 3. It's one of them. So playing solo and just going for the easy rooms just ensures your whole run is going to be single waves in rooms, and you'll get to your Nemesis a lot quicker, which just makes this a bit easier. So in this recording here, I've just completed loop 5, and we're just before the Nemesis. There's these shops to go to. The one on the left here, you can refill your ammo if you want. There's no point in doing that. There's a restock box behind you, but you do have special ammo. Hollow point and high velocity is what I'm being offered here. You might get different ones. With the high velocity, that's probably one of my favorites. If you throw that on your rifle or your ranged weapon, it's going to stagger the Nemesis. Very good for solo or group play. You can also refill armor kits there and some other stuff as well. And you have access to the other shop as well, where you can still increase your ammo capacity if you just want to spend any remaining currency. So do spend all the currency you got at this point to just make sure you're as prepped as you can be for the Nemesis encounter. And then make sure you hit these restock boxes here as well for some freebies before you head out. Once you initialize this device, the Nemesis encounter is going to start. I highly recommend you just skip the cutscene and just follow my route now to a great area to take the Nemesis on. I'm just going to let this clip roll now. You will hear me talking because I did it live on stream. But straight ahead, far left, and that's the corner you want to be where you see me going now. It's a great spot, and this is how easy it is with an M1A. Curtailed. It's got no chance. Okay, so that's chem. Okay, that's fine. That hurt. But that's fine. That chem's fine. You can chem only once. Wish I'd Plague of the Outcasts. He's missing with that every time. It's going behind me. Do your chem again. I'm not going to reach him from here, am I? No. Easy. And this is my build that I had for that run. I was on tier 3 Vigilance, tier 3 Unhinged, tier 1 Allegro, tier 4 Precise, Preservation and Entrench at tier 1, Eyeless Trauma at tier 1, and Braced at tier 2, which countered the Unhinged. I had a classic M1A, I had a submachine gun, and I didn't go with my advice about skills on that one. So I got a little bit lucky that the Nemesis had a fire chem that was quite easy to dodge, but he pretty much had 2 random skills he could have used against me there. So just make sure with the skills, as I said earlier, if you can get a sticky EMP, a blind of Firefly, these would be perfect. Or just choose skills that you don't mind defending against. You can also see that I chose 11 easy rooms there, 9 medium rooms. I got 50% weapon damage from all of the extra stats at the end of each loop. So I chose devastating every single time. And I did this in just 5 loops solo. One final thing to mention, I guess, is something I found out later in that stream I did yesterday, is just up where I came for that solo run there's this position here behind the generator where you are pretty safe, providing, again, you use good skills where the Nemesis isn't going to be able to get you out of this position. Like the last thing you want is them to throw a Stinger Hive here or something, you know. But if you stand here, the Nemesis is going to rush you, as you can see here to the right side, and they will come up this step. So if you set up right, you got your stagger ammo and you have some crowd control, you can get them to push you, manage them with the crowd control, and just manage them very, very quickly. You can see here we didn't have our skills right. We're getting destroyed by Stinger Hives and stuff. So it is important to strategize, but this is a nice little position as well if you want to use it. And that is it for this video. I am working on a perfect descent one. We've only had 2 attempts at this at the minute, but a perfect descent is where you're in a full squad of 4 people and you've got to defeat the Nemesis without any of you going down. You can't even go down to your knees. We've had 2 attempts, got to the Nemesis 2 times, but we keep messing up because of the skills that they're using. It's something we just need to get right with the RNG. We're going to try again. We try again today. We don't have Trauma though. Trauma plays a big part in that, I guess. But as soon as I get this one done, I'll redo a video and give you tips for that one as well. Thank you for watching this. Make sure you like it. If it's helped you today, subscribe for more videos like the one I just discussed. Until next time, take care and peace out.